Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode here on the Xisuminati Modpack server. It's our third episode and I can't remember how many live streams we've done between the end of the last one and the beginning of this one. I've got a feeling it's actually none because I've been streaming a few other things like Minecraft Story Mode, and we don't need to waffle on about that. Let's get to what we've been doing here. I have been playing a lot when I haven't been streaming, just doing some off-camera stuff, and I'm really in the mood to make some progress in this episode. So I kind of want to outline a whole bunch of different things that I want to get done by the end of this episode, and we'll start off with this room right here. This is the trophy room, and I started doing a little bit of the ground. I really like this glass. We're going to have some carpet that goes around like this, then we're going to have a sort of a square section over here, a floor to put things on, and then of course we'll build up the walls and the roof all in this area. Now the trophy room is for trophies, these ones, and also other collectibles like the heads of the different mobs. That's the kind of stuff that's going to end up in here. Also Red Tack gave me this. Let's go down below and have a look at what this is called. It is the height map projector. Now this temple is definitely bigger than 16 by 16 blocks, so I've got a feeling this is a larger size map, and then you map out the area on your map, and then you can have this thing project it. I mean, that's what the name would say it does, right? And I think that's pretty cool. I like that. That's definitely going to have a permanent fixture in this place, just not right there on the glass. And this is also going to be our entrance room to the base as well, because we have this system on the server. This is called an entity shifter, and this is a way of instant teleportation. So when I go through here, you can see that it takes us to what is a hub room. And I found this really inspiring because when I was shown what everyone else has been doing, you can see everyone's made their little entrance bit look unique, and you can see all of the cool different textures that are available on this mod pack, and it was really inspiring. I just wanted to get going and start doing more stuff in the mod pack, and it looks so cool. And I've been going out and checking out people's bases, and there are some really awesome ones. By the way, this texture over here, the chisel one, this is called Energized Voidstone. It looks absolutely amazing. I really want to craft some of this stuff and get it put in the chisel room because I want to do some building with that for sure. And you can go up and down in this thing as well. So this one right here isn't done. This one is done, but I have no idea what all of this stuff leads to at the moment. And if we go down below, you'll find this is my one right here. I'm the only person with a portal on this level, and I didn't have time to grab anything, so I just used whatever was lying around, basically some cobblestone and stone bricks, and made this little entrance right here. So I do want to fancy that up in this episode, so that's two things I want to do. The trophy room, our little entrance, and the third thing would be this right here. And believe me, there's actually a lot of things. Well, probably 4 in total, but we'll potentially do a lot more in this episode. So this room right here, it's almost finished. I don't think we're going to be able to fill in all of the rooms, but I want to finish this design on each of the 4 segments. I think it looks really cool. We've got 2 different types of carpet there, and it would be nice if this was a little bit more pale so it could match that bit over there. But I think it looks pretty good. I also need to find a material to fill in the carpenter's slopes. But then this room is going to get going, really. We're going to fill in the walls with lots of useful things like more caches, some machines. And I think I want to make a little QED room over on one of these sides so we can make some more of these. The Ender Flux crystals and power our quantum entangled doohickey, or also known as... Oh, it still says quantum entangled doohickey. Maybe we've got to fly away a little bit further, come back, and it's still a doohickey. Okay, whatever. That thing changes names every so often. Yeah, so I make a little room for that just in this sort of space right here, which I think will look real cool. And the 4th thing that I want to get done, so we've got our little teleportation room, the trophy room, this room right here. The 4th thing is to finally get this storehouse moved up to a permanent location up there. It's full of useful things that I'm forever looking for, but also a lot of that useful stuff is scattered around the place in random crafting benches and chests, and I even still keep coming back here and picking stuff out of these chests, and by now that is pretty ridiculous. We need everything in one place to move forward, to do things efficiently, and so that's what we're going to be doing. So those are my 4 objectives. I think I'm now just going to crack on with a little bit of building and show you some progress as we make it. So I've been making some progress, but modded, it takes so much more time to play than vanilla, and it never feels like you're making that much progress. I guess on the building front we're making progress though. Check this out. These are sandstone tiles right there. That was the first thing I tried, and as soon as I put it in I thought that looks great. Similar texture to what we got going on over here, and even though the colour is different, ever so slightly, it looks really, really good and sort of transitions it to that brighter yellow. So very happy with that. Over here, just put down the QED, so this is where the QED room will go. Need to find the right textures to put with that. And over here, yeah, you're not seeing double or triple. We actually have 3 storehouses. I took the last of the titanium that I had, decided to make 2 more of these, and I thought that would be a good way to organise our items. So this is going to be our master input and output chest or storehouse, and I've been thinking about how all of this is going to work, because my plan is to automate the production of certain materials like cobble and sand, and have them automatically come into this area. So we'll come back to that when we get round to doing that, but it's also going to be hooked up to here because they're all going to have retrieval nodes, so they'll be able to pick out anything that comes into this chest, which means we can use our ender pouch to dump off items wherever we are into the storehouse, and then all of these things can take items out of it. So at the moment there's lots of like ingots and things like that in here, which will eventually be in the caches. Some of these are full up, so you might see their colours change as we upgrade them to the next level. If I press F to swap to this hotbar and press P, you can see that's the initial one. Do you then just take one of those and put it in the middle? No, you need a different type of metal after that, I think, is how it works. So I'll be upgrading those as we go along. We need to automate creating metals soon. But anyway, there is another thing that I've done. If we come back up here, you can see the trophy room is sort of coming along. Been playing around with different materials, and this design I kind of like. And then I got to this bit and I realised that the room is going to feel real empty because it kind of needs like a table or shelves or some details in it, which I'm not sure how to execute. And then we've got to put things in this room as well. At the moment we don't have enough trophies, and although I like these materials and they're mixing together well, it doesn't really quite feel so homey is the vibe that I'm getting. So I'm not sure where this is going to go, but otherwise I like the patterns on the floor and the materials we're using on the sides. And if we go back down to the floor down below and go over in this direction, you can just see that I've torn out those chests that were lying around. Everything down here has been moved and put into that storehouse. It was about time I did that, and I'm really thankful that I did it. And I do have more things to show you. This is actually stuff that I've done from before I last recorded. If we go down here, you can see that our corridor has been extended somewhat. And with the materials that I had, I worked on extending it in this direction. You can see the roof is still to go, and in this one as well. But I've also prepared it for some projects we're going to be doing in live streams. If we go through to the central bit, you can see our master room. This is where all of our materials like sand and cobble are going to be generated. This thing will be decorated and made to look nice. That room has been cleared out, ready for construction. Then over here, I've cleared out a massive space. This is actually going to be 2 separate rooms. I've got ideas for some projects that are going to go down in here. And then over, we've got another room over here. This is going to have loads of the oreberry farms. That's going to be a vertical farm that goes downwards. So, been digging out a space for that. So lots has been going on. And I think one of the things I might try and do this episode as well is finish the roof across this entire corridor. So we just finished doing another live stream and it was pretty derpy. We made some progress up here in the trophy room, which I hope to have finished soon. And I found out that the Aether portal, this one right here, you can make like a 3x3 of it, which is awesome. So we got our nether portal on that side, our Aether over here, and I'm messing around with the ceiling at the moment. I've got something awesome to show you that you can do with this. So if you grab your chisel and select a material that you want to change this to. Now I'm messing around with different ones here. That light grey one might be interesting. Now if you leave it on the chisel like this and go around and whack them, you can actually change it to the colour of the one on the chisel, which is like really awesome and very useful. So I've been trying to find a different colour that works up the top here because I didn't want to do yellow on the ground and above. And personally I like the orange, but a lot of people in the stream said they weren't too keen on it. I think I might stick with it because it looks alright. And I'm also in the process of finishing off this ceiling. We're going to have some lights up at the top. And it's all looking pretty good. We also got a zombie pigman head. But in the stream I was being quite derpy and I moved our power over here. What was it? The ender pearl power down below. And I've set up a proper system for that. So let's go and have a look. This thing's probably going to get like reorganized and moved around as we mess around with this. Not sure about the entrance at all. But there'll be a room here. I want the room to look at least a little bit fancy and for this thing to look cool inside of it. But you can see exactly what's going on here. However, it doesn't appear to be like harvesting at all at the moment. And that would be because we need another trash can, a fluid one, which I put up here. I didn't put one down the bottom, so I'm going to guess it's filled up. Oh no, it doesn't have fluids, this one. Okay, so I don't know why they're all full and not being harvested. Actually, I was going to say that might be full, but that's not the case, is it? This thing now isn't getting energy. It never was getting energy. Well, I found another problem there that needs fixing. Oh, I guess we're we'll figure it all out step by step. Anyway, over the back here is where our ender generators are, so we pump in ender pearls from the top. We'll do that from the bottom as well later on. And then we have these energy extraction pipes, and I was really suffering to figure out how these work. But basically, rather than putting an energy node directly next to each one of these, you can actually hook them up to the energy extraction pipes, and then that way this thing can pull from each of those, which is really cool. So this is going to wirelessly transmit, and now this is going to be our source of power in this room for powering most of our base, I hope. We'll probably end up making some more ones in the future if ever we need it. So in here is where I'm going to start making all of the different materials like stone, cobblestone and obsidian, sand and gravel and all of that stuff. And then I kind of hit a little bit of a wall because my logic with how this system was going to work is actually a little bit flawed. You see, the problem is we have a storehouse here and we dump all of our materials into it, and then our cache storage over here takes them out. So if we put cobblestone in, then it goes over here. Now when it comes to materials that we want to generate round the clock with energy, the idea is that when these caches fill up, they should then turn off in some respects. And the way that I wanted to do that was just by simply letting them back up, which we can't do if we put everything into the storehouse, right? So I had this idea, maybe each one gets its own individual ender chest and we attach it to the back side over here. So then only the retrieval node for like sand can take sand out of the sand ender chest, and I'm really not sure how that's going to work at the moment, but I thought I'd mention it. So we've hit a little bit of a snag with that idea, which is why I decided to focus on the room up here. So what I'm going to do now is just play casually for a bit and finish this, and I'll show you it when it's done. So since we last recorded, once again done a few bits and bobs, and down here I had a chest full up of all of the, what are they called again? Ore berries that we get from these over here. We're going to set up a proper farm for this soon. In fact, this might be the next project that I do in my next live stream, because all of this is fairly straightforward. And what we're doing is we're changing this chest over to a Tinker's Smeltery one. So if we go over to our smeltery now, we should have loads of the ore berries being processed over there. Because some of them you can craft, I think, directly into ingots, but all of them can go in here. And let's see, what's happening is some of it's getting dispensed into here, but it's not enough to make a full ingot. So in order to avoid that, what we could do is, what I've seen someone else do, is set up tons of these Tinker's Smelteries in a row, and then have it so that you have one smeltery for each different type of metal, and then you're going to resolve those sorts of problems automatically just by processing them one by one. So if we do that, now the next material is going to go in there. And yeah, the management of all of this stuff definitely needs to be sorted out. But if you have a look here at just the odd ones in there, that's because they come directly through from the farms and just smelt straight away. And what's cool about this is we're basically running it off of nothing, because we've got the cobblestone generator and we've got the crucible here. So with just that little bit right there, we don't have to worry about this thing running. It can run around the clock. So that's a really good system. That's something we're definitely going to aim towards. And as well as that, I have finished the area up above, and I think most of the things I talked about doing are pretty much done now. So this looks really cool, this room, now that it's finished. I especially like the roof here. I think that glowstone at the top is just the right kind of light level to make this work. And over here we've got some shelves for our mob heads as well, and some of the gifts that people have given me I've decided to keep up the top here as mementos of all the little things that they've like dropped off in the base. And the last thing that I want to do here is illuminate this one, because we've got a portal on that side, the Aether, the Nether. This one over here is sort of out of use at the moment, and now I've just finished doing this, the Entity Shifter. If we put this block here and the Ender Pearl brick and then a little bit of glowstone in it, which we do by holding shift, we then get light in this area. That makes a world of difference right there. And the Ender Pearl brick, by the way, you make that out of Ender Pearls. You can actually craft them into like the equivalent of redstone blocks like that, and then they become ender bricks, which are actually a really nice texture. And if we go back here, you'll see that progress once again has been made in this area. Got a bit of an aquatic vibe going on now. And that looks pretty amazing, doesn't it? This thing is going to be awesome as all of the different hubs fill up. And my one over here is still ugly, so I've also got to take care of that as well, which I'll probably do in a little while and show you next time we record, which might be after I do a live stream, just not sure at this point. So we just finished another live stream, and it was terrific actually. We were really productive. You know, sometimes I'm just in the flow, in the mood for some modded Minecraft, and we did a project to completion pretty much. I got a little bit more work to do on it, but I do want to show you what's going on over here. So we investigated these new compacting drawers, and these are just fantastic. So you place one of these down, and then you put one type of metal into it and it will instantly pull up these different bits right here. And the way that it works is that you can sort of click on any type regardless of what you actually have in there and take them out. So it says we got 1 copper ingot, right? As soon as we click on that, we got 0. We can click on it again and it takes away from the blocks at the top, which is just a really smart way of doing it. And you have to click on the particular part of the block as well, which is so cool. So we've got 5 of those set up. They've all got retrieval nodes with filters for the 3 different bits that they use. And you can use those ones for beacons. That's cool. Good to know. And they hook up to our storehouse over here. So the reason that we actually did this, though, was because we started some farms for these 5 types of metal right here. So we got tin, iron, gold, aluminium, and copper. I was going to say bronze. It's not. If we go down below, I think I talked about my Tinker's Smeltery project, and we decided to actually knock that one on the head because someone suggested that what we could do is output these into a furnace. So let's step back in awe and wonder at this room. I really love how this looks. I said, hey, let's use laboratory blocks, and we did. And we also messed around with Z-tones as well, which took quite some time to figure out. So I don't know, leave a comment and let me know if perhaps you're new and you're watching and you want me to go over that stuff. Maybe I can kind of explain it a little bit in another video. It was a bit of a headache for me to figure out, but these Z-tones blocks are fantastic. And this room looks like really cool, I think. We've got some Z-tones glass here as well, and the idea is that each layer you go down, the colour changes a little bit, but each layer has also got a different type of ore berry. So we have our harvester right there. We've got an upgrade that does this area, and then we've got our ore bushes in the middle. On one side we got a trash can. On the other one we got energy, and it outputs the nuggets that it creates, or sorry, the little ore berry bits, into a furnace in front of it, which then smelts it down into a nugget. And then this thing on the side picks up the nuggets from the output slot and sends them into our master storage, which then sends them through into those storage drawers that I showed you a moment ago. So down the side here we just got an energy pipe coming from our wireless energy source, and it's fantastic. The last thing that I got to do is the back wall here and the ceiling, and then this room will be complete. And that is our first project room, like done and dusted. Of course I'll come back in here and put in some more ore berry bushes over time. But that's really cool. We're now generating those materials around the clock, and in doing so we also learned that the imaginary time machine, this thing right here, I thought this had a range of 3 by 3, but it seems that it extends a lot further, possibly like 11 by 11, and I don't know how high it is either. But it's a lot larger, and it means that we can expand and redesign this farm, which is something that we're going to be doing soon. But anyway, I probably need to wrap this video up at some point, and I'm not sure if I'm going to get any more time to hang out here in the base or do anything more. If I do, of course, I'm going to record that and let you know how it goes before the next live stream. I've been really enjoying doing these. But yeah, we made some terrific progress in this one. So, wherever we left off, I'm back here now. I think we had a look at this room, and now I've finished it as well. So I haven't live streamed or anything like that, by the way. This is just me logging on to quickly finish up all of this build right here. Once again going with this little pattern thing like we've done around here. I think it looks real cool, and I kind of feel like maybe there should be extra blocks in the middle, but it's fine. It looks good, and this thing is ready to go. And by the way, we've got 2 layers here that have had much more ore berries on them, and they've been running overnight, and you can actually see that if we go up above and have a look at the storage, because we had a reasonable amount of materials here, but now if you look at the amount of blocks, we've got 39 of copper, 50 of tin, and then 18, 3, and 24. So these 2 are sort of running away, and they'll continue to do that. They're just going to passively grow materials, which is really, really cool. Now, as well as that, I've also done a little something to the ender pearl farm. I'm sort of working on the entrance over here, playing around with having the blocks to indicate where you're going to on the outside, and then rather opening it all up like this, which was the original plan, I think we're going to go with this sort of layout, and also drag the texture down there on the sides. That looks cool. Anyway, if we go back into here, you can see that I've installed some deep storage units, and these I think hold something like 2 million items. So I started to think about how we were getting tons of ender pearls in here, and that we needed a way to store them. And I wanted to sort of store them before our ender generators, because what we could do, or I might do, is make it so that our ender pearls come out of the farm, they go into the ender generators, oh dear, and when the ender generators are full, they then get sent up above to our storage up there. The thing is though, if we then, let's say, use up a lot of power and we can't produce ender pearls fast enough, then this thing is going to back up a little bit and run out. and that kind of worries me. So I'm thinking, hey, maybe storing lots of the ender pearls here is a good idea. But maybe the deep storage unit isn't the right one to do. Maybe we want to pick something with like a finite amount of storage, although that technically does have, and then that means it's like a reserve. When that's filled up, then it will go through all of this, through the ender generators and up to our system above. It's all about just managing the flow of items and stuff like that. But what I do want to do now is make some more ender cores. I think we've got enough emeralds to do so. Oh, I fell into the hole. If you haven't seen this before, what we got to do is make some books and craft them with emeralds to get the ones that have the highest enchantment. And I think it's this table right here. Yeah, you put the books in there. It gives you, I think, 15 in total. And so I'm just going to make a few more of those and chuck them down on the ender pearl farm. But I'm actually going to wrap things up here because I don't have a live stream planned for a couple more days, and I've got to get this video up for you guys. So that's it from me, this one. If you have enjoyed it, please do leave a like on the video. It's always appreciated. And yeah, thank you for watching. I'll catch you next time. Bye bye.